Paddy the Baddy is being given easy opponents. Is that fair? Now, that is not a statement by me. That is a narrative that's going around. Certainly you guys will have heard it. There was even comparisons to Paddy the Baddy and Sugar Sean O'Malley. I fully disagree with that. I don't know one of those guys that Sean O'Malley fought that you think's an easy opponent, and I don't know a person out there that would walk up to that person and tell him you're an easy opponent. So I don't know that I believe that. I am aware of the phenomenon, though. Now, Paddy the Baddy is very different than Sean O'Malley. Another reason I don't like the comparison is Sean O'Malley has said to anyone willing to listen, I will fight anybody, any of you. I can't get on the docket with a top 5 guy, the top 3 guys, the top 10 guys. That's very different. Paddy the Baddy said, I won't sign off to fight a top 10 guy or a top 3 guy. Very different. Paddy the Baddy, if you guys haven't heard this, he's been very clear. Paddy's very straight. I really do like that about him. But he told us, I'm not paid enough to fight these hard guys. I'm going to continue to fight unhard guys. Now, whether that's marketing, whether that's reality, or Paddy's playing a game, either way, Paddy is turning down fights. Truck Gordon, just by example, thought he had this fight. Truck Gordon went to bed believing that he had this fight. Paddy said no, and then Paddy told the media, Gordon's too hard. I'm not going to fight somebody at home in my second fight for this purse that's as hard as Gordon. Paddy put him over. So it's real hard to get mad at Paddy. Now, is it right? That's what we're here to discuss. It gets a little bit complicated, guys. It does. You have an obligation as a fighter. You get a piece of what you bring in, same as absolutely every company out there. Generally speaking, right? If I'm painting with a broad stroke here, everybody needs 2. 2 is always better than 1. Go and find yourself a partner. We're going to call him an opponent, but you guys are doing business together tonight. Let's see what you can create. That's what it is. Paddy the Baddy is in a rare category where it doesn't matter who that opponent is. People find Paddy interesting. People are along the journey with Paddy for Paddy. So it's a very different spot. He is expected to get X amount of media. He was expected to drum up X amount of interest. He's expected to get X amount of eyeballs. X amount of butts in the seat when you're in his home country. He's expected to do that. Paddy fulfilled. He didn't need an opponent. Very rare. That might create a jealousy, but that's still the answer. Paddy had certain expectations put on him, and he fulfilled that without the use of a partner. It's rare. It's a great deal if you can get it. Now, I did think when Paddy first came out and said, I'm not fighting these hard guys, continued to give me unimpressive people. Dangerous game. Dangerous game only because an easy, unhard guy in the UFC, this is an oxymoron. I've yet to meet one. I sure as hell never competed with one, but I've also yet to meet that guy. They're all really good. And it always makes you go back to Conor McGregor's rise, when Conor was openly and admittedly being carried against Dennis Seaver, against Max Holloway, against Dustin Poirier, against Chad Mendes, right? It turned into be murderer's row, which is always the problem. Perception and reality. Nothing is more glaringly obvious of perception and reality than MMA. You want to go right now to Ring Magazine and go look up the top 10 boxers in the world? It's the top 10 most popular boxers in the world. What is the name I know the most? Good, write him as number 1. What's the name I hear second most? Good, write him as number 2. Perception being reality. In the UFC, we got some straight up hammers all over the place. But they haven't been on television yet. Or they haven't captivated the media yet. Or they haven't had that one great performance yet. It happens all the time. It's basically the genesis of the Ultimate Fighter. Every Ultimate Fighter from day one, which ended up producing world champions, by the way, from day one until now, is this group that would go into the category of unknown, not as good. And season after season after season, one of them rises up to at least contend for a championship, and many of them go on to win the world championship. So it's a tough game. And when Paddy plays that, I thought that he'd be met with resistance, but he would also be met with resistance by his own team going, Paddy, you need to take these guys just as serious. The rules are the same regardless of who the opponent is. He got 2 arms and 2 legs. He didn't get to bring a bat. This is unarmed combat. Anything goes. It's one of those things where there really is no easy route. But if you do want to look deeper into it, be more introspective and say, is it right? Is it fair? Yes, it is. My father was a plumber, and he was fast. Everybody that ever worked with my dad will tell how fast he was. It takes 2.5 days to plumb a house. Okay, it's called roughing in right at the foundation, but it takes 2.5 days to do. My father could do it in 1 day because he was so quick. And when he would come back and that job would be done, his boss, John Eggy was his name, would give my father the next 2 days off and he'd pay him. Now, for any of the other plumbers to get paid for 2 days, they'd have to come in there and bust their back 8 hours a day, right? None of them were mad when my dad did it because they understood my dad did what would take the rest of them 3 days. He did it 1 day. Yes, of course he gets 2 days off that are paid. Fair game. But it was also a motivation. It was an incentive. Helped my father be even quicker. He liked that. He liked that he was known for that. He liked that he got some time off so he could take my mother out to lunch. Just sharing with you, in all walks of life, this is true. If you do a better job, the rules are going to change for you. If you can fulfill your end of the bargain in a way that's different than the traditional bargain, fair game. Paddy the Baddy's done his part. Paddy the Baddy's got attention. He's got the media. He made the rounds. He sold the tickets. And come Saturday, people are going to tune in for him. So if he wants to take a little bit of a different path, as long as he's upholding his end of the bargain, I say it's fair game.